Welcome. Today we're going to do more than just talk about a new strategy. We are going to fundamentally rewire the way you, as an educator, approach your work in this digital age. This is a masterclass, really, on how to translate your expertise, all that knowledge you've spent a lifetime building, into an online income stream that's scalable, predictable, and most importantly, sustainable. We're going to engineer a daily routine that takes just 30 minutes, but trust me, it has the power to completely reshape your digital future.
Okay, let's really dive into this, because this one idea, it's the foundation for everything else we're about to cover. You know, if you really study the most successful knowledge entrepreneurs out there, you find this one simple truth over and over again. Their big breakthroughs, they weren't born from burnout or from grinding out 12-hour days creating content. No, they came from finding a cadence, a rhythm. It's about the consistent daily practice of sharing one small idea, not the occasional exhausting marathon of building some massive course. It's all about consistency, not intensity.
I want you to really sit with this question for a moment. There's this prevailing myth out there that building an online business requires this monumental commitment of time and energy, something that, let's be honest, most educators just don't have. But what if that myth is just plain wrong? What if the key isn't finding more time, but having a better system for the time you do have? Well, that is the promise of the framework we're going to unpack today.
So here's our blueprint for the next few minutes. First, we're going to redefine what success even looks like, shifting away from that brute force model to one of smart, intelligent consistency. Then we're going to deconstruct this 30-minute routine into 3 distinct 10-minute blocks of super focused action. After that, we'll get into the behavioral science, the psychology of why this routine is so incredibly powerful. And finally, we'll map out the transformation that happens when you commit to this process for just 90 days.
Let's kick things off with the single most important mindset shift you need to make. The most successful educator entrepreneurs, they get this. Online income isn't something you chase down, it's something you build, piece by piece, one day at a time. They're not focused on trying to get one-off viral hits. Instead, they are obsessed with the small, daily micro-movements that push this giant, heavy flywheel forward day after day, building unstoppable momentum. This is what it means to find your success rhythm.
So here's the crucial point, and I really want this to land. We have to completely reframe how we think about online income. It is not a product. It's not the ebook, it's not the course, it's not the template. Those are just the outputs. Real, sustainable online income is the result of a system that consistently builds attention, that cultivates deep trust, and that establishes a solid digital infrastructure. The routine we're about to build is the engine that drives that exact system.
Okay, the clock starts now. For the first 10 minutes of our routine, we're actually not creating a single thing. Instead, we're doing 2 incredibly critical things. We are observing the world around us, and we are positioning ourselves within it. This is all about external awareness and internal clarity. Every single sustainable online business begins right here. Let's break this down. The first 5 minutes? That's your market scan. Think of it as your daily dose of observational intelligence. You're just listening to the digital conversation, trying to understand the pains, the hopes, the desires of your audience. Then, the next 5 minutes are for creating one authority signal. This is your daily act of planting a flag in the ground, of depositing one single piece of high-value insight that proves to the world you are worth listening to.
Now, what's so fascinating here is what this tells us about how top performers think. They anchor their decisions in data, not just assumptions. The core problem for so many people is this: creating in a vacuum. It just leads to misalignment and so much wasted effort. Your daily 5-minute scan isn't about chasing trends, it's about taking the temperature of your market. What are parents, teachers, or school leaders complaining about right now? What solutions are they actively Googling for? This ensures your work is always relevant, because relevance is engineered, not guessed.
All right, so we've gathered our external intelligence. Let's move to the next block. From minutes 11 through 20, we turn inward. We shift from observing the market to collecting our own internal resources and actually building tangible digital assets. This is the moment where your unique expertise starts to take a marketable form.
From minutes 11 to 15, you're going to build what I call your story vault. You know, leadership studies consistently show that narrative intelligence is one of the most potent tools for influence. So every day, you'll spend just 5 minutes documenting one short story from your experience: a classroom win, a leadership challenge, a moment of insight. Why? Well, because while facts educate the brain, it's the stories that connect to the heart that truly convert. Your vault becomes this deep reservoir of content that makes your brand human, relatable, and trustworthy. And that brings us to the next 5 minutes, the asset move.
From minutes 16 to 20, you make tiny, micro progress on a digital product. You write just one paragraph of an ebook. You design one slide of a mini course. Productivity research is crystal clear on this. Progress becomes sustainable when we lower the barrier to entry. So, instead of waiting for that free weekend that never ever comes, you build your product in these small, daily deposits. And as you can see, that tiny daily effort, it compounds into a completely finished digital asset over the course of 90 days.
So what kind of assets are we talking about here? Well, the possibilities are vast. You could be building online courses on platforms like Teachable, or creating simple digital downloads. Maybe you're designing high-touch coaching programs using a platform like Kajabi. Memberships on Podia or templates on Skillshare. All of these are born from this exact process of small, consistent daily creation. Okay, we are now entering the final 10-minute block of our routine. This is where we turn our focus back to the outside world. All that amazing value we've observed, positioned, and built, well, now it needs to be connected to an audience and amplified. This is all about strategic engagement and intelligent distribution.
So, from minutes 21 to 25, we perform what's called the relationship touch. We know from research that people trust brands and experts that make them feel seen and heard. So for just 5 minutes, you engage meaningfully with 2 or 3 people. Answer a question with a thoughtful perspective. Offer a quick word of encouragement. The goal isn't to be a chatterbox, no. It's to build strategic goodwill, demonstrating that you are a genuine resource, not just another content broadcaster.
Finally, from minutes 26 to 30, we have the visibility push. And this part is absolutely critical. An idea that's kept private helps no one. One of the first rules of entrepreneurship is that value must be seen to be captured. So in these last 5 minutes, you take one small action to amplify your brand. You publish that insight you wrote earlier, schedule a post, or send a little snippet to your email list. This ensures that every single day you are systematically expanding your digital footprint. So now we have the architecture of the routine. We know the what and the how, but now let's look under the hood. Let's talk about the why. Why does this specific 30-minute structure work so well? Well, it's not magic, it's pure behavioral science. This routine is engineered to align with the core principles of habit formation and psychological momentum. It effectively rewires your brain for success. You know, the research in behavioral economics is pretty clear that habits stick when 3 conditions are met. First, there has to be low friction. Each of these tasks is small and time-bound, which makes it incredibly easy to start. Second, it needs to support a clear identity. Every action you take reinforces your identity as a digital educator. And third, there's a predictable reward. Consistent daily output leads to the predictable reward of more attention and engagement, which in turn fuels your motivation to keep going. When you practice this routine consistently, you're not just checking things off a list, you are starting a powerful engine. You're creating what systems theorists call a virtuous cycle. It's a self-reinforcing loop where each component of the system strengthens all the others, leading to exponential, not just linear, growth over time. And here's what that cycle looks like in action. It all begins with your daily authority signals, which start to attract attention. That attention creates opportunities for engagement, which builds deep connection. That connection, combined with the assets you're slowly building, is what produces income. And the visibility you generate from your daily push, well, that reinforces your authority, starting the entire cycle all over again, but this time from a much higher starting point. Each part feeds the next. It creates this unstoppable momentum.
We've covered the what, the how, and the why. So now, let's talk about the when. Look, this system isn't about just dabbling. It's about deep commitment. It's about understanding that your digital future isn't a matter of chance. It's a matter of choice. A choice that you make for 30 minutes every single day. 90 days. That's it. That's the commitment. If you execute this routine with focus for the next 90 days, your online presence will be unrecognizable. You will have produced 90 authority signals, collected 90 news stories, made huge progress on a digital asset, built dozens of meaningful relationships, and amplified your brand 90 separate times. The compound effect of these small daily actions is truly staggering. But you know, the most profound change won't even be in your metrics. It will be in your identity. The psychological momentum that comes from this kind of daily progress is transformative. You will shift from feeling like a reactive educator just trying to survive the day to seeing yourself as a proactive digital architect, deliberately and methodically building equity in your own expertise.
So, I want to leave you with this one final thought. The next 3 months, they're going to pass whether you implement this routine or not. Time is going to move forward no matter what. The only question is, what will you have to show for it? Will you be in the exact same place you are today? Or will you have built the foundation of a brand new digital future? The choice, as always, is yours.
The power of this system is in its simplicity, its psychological design, and its relentless ability to compound. With this, you stop chasing income and you start building the system that creates it. You are no longer waiting for opportunities, you are engineering them. Commit to the routine. Start building today.